Chapter 11. Jacob. And these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife. Then Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she remained barren, and the Lord answered him, and Rebekah conceived. But as the children within her grew, they began to struggle with one another, and Rebekah inquired of the Lord Jael the reasoning. The Lord answered, saying, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. When her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. The first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. After came out his brother, and his hand was grasped upon Esau's heel, and so his name was called Jacob. Jacob was preceded by his brother Esau, so naturally Esau was bestowed the firstborn birthright, but the Lord Jael had supernaturally decreed to Rebekah that her younger son would be the continuation of his covenant with Abraham and Isaac. As the boys matured, Esau grew to be an outdoorsman, a hunter, and favored by his father. Jacob grew to be a more refined man of culture and distinction, and favored by his mother. It occurred that on a particular day Esau, just back from a long and arduous hunting expedition, came famished to the tent of Jacob, and Jacob had simmering over his fire a savory stew. Esau begged his brother a bowl. But Jacob struck a proposition to Esau concerning his birthright, saying, I will give you the stew if you pass to me your birthright as firstborn. Esau, irritated, retorted, Jacob, I am famished near to death. What use is a birthright to me? So it was that Jacob obtained the right of the firstborn, and Esau a bowl of stew. When Isaac became an old man did his sight flee him, and his vision was reduced to shadows. It was the custom of the time when a father sensed the days of his life coming to a close that he call forth his firstborn to bless him, and pass on his legacy. Such a time had been determined by Isaac, and so it was his intent to bestow his blessing upon Esau, though his wife had made known to him the revelation she had received of the Lord Jael. It was with the help of his mother, through deception, that Jacob was able also to obtain even Isaac's irrevocable blessing, and when Esau was made aware of what Jacob had done, he plotted to kill him. This scheme was soon discovered by Rebekah, and she told it to Jacob. With trickery and she manipulated her husband to send Jacob away to Paddan Aram, to Laban her brother, the son of Bethuel the Syrian. As Jacob was in flight to the house of Laban did night fall, and he came to Bethel and camped there. He took some stones and piled them that he might use them as a rest for his back, and laid himself down to sleep. As he slept, Jael touched him with a vision in a dream. In his dream Jacob saw a ladder that extended from earth up into the heavens, and the angels of God were moving up and down the ladder, and at the very top of the ladder stood the Lord Jael himself. Then the Lord said, I am the Lord God of Abraham, and the God of Isaac. The land whereupon thou liest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed. Your seed shall number as the dust of the earth, and thou shalt spread out and take this land. I am with thee, and will keep thee. I will not leave thee, until I have done what I have spoken. When Jacob wakened, his spirit was cogitated, and he mused, Surely the Lord is in this place. He arose, took the stones of his rest, set them up as a pillar, then poured oil on top of it, and vowed a vow, swearing, Lord, if you will be with me, and will keep me, and will provide for me, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then shall you be my God. Jacob continued on his way and eventually arrived at the house of Laban. Upon arrival, Jacob instantly fell in love with Laban's youngest daughter Rachel, and soon bargained with Laban that he would work 7 years for her hand in marriage. Laban agreed. At the end of the 7 years did Laban adorn his daughter in heavy veils, covering even her eyes, and he told Jacob that this was the custom of his people regarding marriage, and that he could not see his bride in the light until the morning after the wedding. Jacob agreed, and was married conforming to the custom. When the ceremony and festivities were completed, it was well into the night. Laban then escorted his daughter to the wedding tent as a sign indicating that she was no longer his, and the women of his household followed as well. Jacob remained behind with all the men of the camp, and then shortly was escorted by them to the consummation quarters. Jacob eagerly bade them a good night in anticipation of the bride he had labored 7 years to wed. As the morning arose, bringing with it the first light, Jacob stirred, adoringly kissing she whom he thought was Rachel. To his utter horror were his eyes impacted by the vision before him. It was not Rachel he had wed but Leah, Rachel's older sister. Jacob was outraged, and began screaming his displeasure to the capacity of his lungs. Leah wakened and began to weep profusely in light of the unkind remarks of Jacob concerning her, for Leah was not the beauty that Rachel was, neither did her eyes sparkle and dance. Jacob went sprinting from the tent clothed only in his undergarment with ill intent toward the person of Laban, cursing him for his trickery. Laban slowly emerged from his tent, his men of valor already stationed, for Laban had anticipated Jacob's reaction. Jacob sneered at Laban, demanding, "Why have you beguiled me, uncle?" Laban calmly replied, "It is against the custom of our land that a younger daughter should marry before the elder. I implore you, Jacob, to fulfill my daughter Leah, and in 7 years' time, if you labor once more, I shall also give you Rachel to wed." Jacob could only agree, for it was Rachel he truly desired, and whatever it took he would possess her.